Hi there guys, this is Eva from Naturally Rawsome, and today I want to talk about my favorite fruit, papayas. As you might know if you follow me on Instagram, I eat a lot of papayas at the moment, and I've always been eating a lot of papayas since years now. So I thought I'd make a video, as I get asked the question a lot, how to tell when papayas are ripe or how to store them. So in this video I'll share with you some tips about papayas. Let's get started. So where should I start? Well, the best, of course, the source. Where do you get your papayas? That's important. You can buy them in the supermarket nowadays, but according to my experience, supermarket papayas are sometimes good if you're lucky, but somewhat they are not as ripe as if you order them online, and they sometimes have a really dry inside or are very green on the outside and not really orangey and juicy on the inside. So if you buy supermarket papayas, they are sometimes completely green. And according to what I have learned and experienced is that if you get papayas, they should, if they are green, at least have some 1 to 3 spots that are orangey on the bottom. I don't have a green papaya right now, so I can't show you, but maybe I'll find a picture and then I'll blend it in during the video. Yeah. And this papaya is what I ordered online from, I got a flight papaya from Brazil. It's a Formosa. And this one's not there yet, but it is already pretty good. And you can see it on the outside that it's still green, and it has that glow on the skin. Like it's still shiny on the outside, and you will see that, for example, on this one, this is not as shiny. I don't know if that's that good to see on the video, but when they're still shiny and kind of have like a film on them, it's not a kind of a pesticide film or something. It's just that when they're not yet there, they're still shiny. And once they lay around for a while, they are getting a bit more damp and not as shiny. And that's when you know that you should gonna start eating them. And you can see on this one, it already has some stretch marks and is pretty orange. This one is a papaya from Thailand, an organic one. And it's a bit smaller than the Formosa. I don't know what kind of a variety this is, but I know that these ones are super juicy. And yeah, they are both very orangey on the inside. And yeah, so when getting papayas, it's always essential to have some kind of orange to them. That's always a good sign. And the way I store them, if I buy papayas in the supermarket, I store them on the kitchen counter or on a warm place so they can ripen up. But tip also over here, don't wait too long. If you wait too long and they get that damp outside and you see that they kind of wrinkle up a little bit and get maybe some brown spots or some kind of dips in them, that's when you know that you've waited too long. And if you cut it up, you'll notice that when you cut through, the knife doesn't go through like through a stick of butter, like smooth and easy, but you have to kind of use more effort to cut through. And when that happens, it's already a little bit overdue or not ripe enough yet. So if you cut it open too early and it's still more white on the inside, then it's very firm. And also if you've waited for too long, then according to my experience, there are some soft spots left on the inside, but they're rare, and most of the parts on the inside have been dried up, so to say, and it's not, yeah, as delicious as it is when it's perfectly ripe. And I have some examples over here. Like for these two papayas, I can tell you that this one is a bit riper than this one. And maybe you see it that it's a bit more orange. And yeah, I already got a bruise mark on the bottom. So yeah, this one is ready to eat. And this one I would still lay on the counter for 1 or 2 days and wait for it. And if I have too many papayas, if I order them online, I get a lot. So I first let them sit outside to ripen up a little. And when I notice that they've ripened up enough, so let's say they look like this, that's already enough for me. Maybe I'd wait 1 day or so, but then I'll put it into the fridge. So to slow down the ripening process, because if you leave them all out on the counter, they will all be ripe at the same time and you won't be able to eat all of them at the same time. So it's always good to store some of them in the fridge and some of them on the kitchen counter, that you have different ripening stages, and always have some at hand, especially if you order them online. They ripen up way much better than store-bought papayas, because store-bought papayas are already ready to eat mostly, and if they lay around they don't get much better according to my experience. But that's always different depending on the source and how fresh they are when they get to the supermarket. At the moment where I live in Germany, we don't get a lot of good papayas in store. They're very dry on the inside. That's why I decided to order them online, fresh from the source. So I get flight papayas and they're way much juicier, and I definitely notice a difference. When I eat the store-bought papayas, they are much more dry and not as juicy, so it's not as much of a digestive effect. As I come from a constipation background, I notice very quickly if something is good for my digestion or not. And store-bought papayas are not as amazing, I would say, as the ones that I order online, or the ones that I get at a local farm market over here, where we get some kind of flight produce from Brazil. They also have some good papayas, but that's not always the case. So ordering them online is the best thing to do according to my experience. And where was I? Even between these two, these ones are super juicy and delicious and good for digestion, but these ones are kind of even topping it. I mean, I got them for the first time during Christmas and they are so juicy. I definitely noticed that they are even better for digestion than these ones, and these ones are already good. So the more orangey they are, the better they are most of the times. But I also kind of notice a difference when there are some larger papayas that are totally orange on the outside that I once bought in the supermarket, and they were okay and juicy, but somehow they didn't have that digestive effect that I was looking for. So each papaya is different, and just like with all fruits, they all have their pros and cons and different varieties, and you gotta find out which ones work best for you and which one you like the most. For some people, I know papayas create diarrhea, so but for these people, maybe a not so juicy papaya would be a better option maybe. And if you don't like the smell or flavor of papayas that much, then a trick is to add some lime juice or lemon juice on top, and that kind of helps to get along with the flavor and might help you in liking the papayas. Because I know that some people are turned off by the smell of papayas. I don't, but yeah, some people are. And another great thing to notice when papayas are good to eat is if you smell at the bottom where there are the orangey spots and there is a peppery kind of aroma, then you know that it's kind of a good one. This one isn't there yet, and not all of them have that. Like the smaller ones don't always have that, and you gotta have good smelling senses. Yeah, this one has it. When you smell the papaya and peppery flavor on the bottom, then you know that it's ready to eat. So this one doesn't have the smell yet, but this one does. That way I know that it's good to eat. And yeah, so storing wise, if you buy in a supermarket, storing them on the counter. If you order online, put some in the fridge, leave some on the counter. So you have different ripening stages, and according to my experience, getting them online is still a better option, even though it might be a bit more expensive in some cases or most of the times. But according to my experience, it's worth it because it has much more of a healing effect, or better quality. Absolutely. And I can also show you this one is what I ordered online, and the other ones, but I also have one that my mom brought me from our local farm shop, and it looks like this. So it's kind of the same, it only has a sticker on it. That way I know that it's not the same that I ordered. But yeah, you can see that there's hardly a difference, and it's also already pretty ripe because it has that orangey kind of color, but it's also still kind of shiny on the outside. So I'd leave it on the counter for 1 day or 2, or put it in the fridge so I don't have too many ripe papayas at one point. Yeah, that's it, I would say. I hope these tips are helpful for you and help you to source better quality papaya. I will link you where I got these ones online, but know that I'm from Germany and that option is only available in Germany. So yeah, go check out the links below and I'll link it. I'm not sponsored, I'm just sharing what I do right now. So to help you to get better quality. And yeah, if you have some questions, leave them down below. Looking forward to answer them. And if you need more tips about how to tell when fruits are ripe, I have an ebook that has a lot of different fruits and veggie fruits in them, where I explain how to tell when they're ripe, how to store them, storage tips and everything. You can also check it out down in the links, and there's also some free ebooks, so make sure to check out the links below. And yeah, that's it for today. Have an awesome day, and remember, until next time, keep it light and simple, and as always, naturally Rawsome. Bye. One last thing that I wanted to mention that just came up my mind is, if the papaya is super ripe and juicy and you blend it up, there is no issues with that, and you have a delicious papaya pudding, and it's just as juicy as if you would eat them as they are. And if you have a kind of a papaya that is more hard on the inside or more gelatinous on the inside and you blend it up, then it could be, some papaya varieties have that tendency, that if you blend it up, it's still smooth and juicy for a minute or so, and then it kind of hardens up and turns into a jelly-like pudding. That's what I kind of sourced some papayas from the Netherlands a few months ago, and that always happened with them. If I blended them up and let them sit or get the papaya pudding with me to work, then I'd end up with jelly like papaya pudding, and I don't really like it. If you enjoy it, well, then enjoy it, but I don't. I prefer the juicier papaya pudding. And usually, it's hard to tell, but yeah, when you cut through and there are some, it's still juicy, but there are some harder parts right in the middle, in the center, or on some parts in the papaya, that's a sign when it could turn into a jelly-like pudding. Yeah, that was the last thing I wanted to mention.